Okay, well, I'm Richard Smith from Warwick University in the UK, and a warm welcome to this event in the International Festival of Mentoring Teacher Research in ELT. And we've got some very special people here today. I'm going to start just by introducing the festival itself. Um, the festival has been going on since last year. It's organized by MenTRnet, and that is the top main topic today. What is MenTRnet? It's supported by, I'm very grateful to British Council, Pilgrim's Teacher Training Journal, and we have Phil from that journal here today. Welcome, Phil, and from IATEFL Research SIG, and we are also celebrating our relationship with IATEFL Research SIG today. Ernesto is here, the coordinator of the special interest group of IATEFL. So the festival, well, what is it? It's going on for 1 year, and the aim of the festival is basically to map the different initiatives that we know are on around the world to support teachers to engage in practitioner research, research oriented towards their own practice, research by teachers themselves. And we are, we are sort of mapping and seeing what these different initiatives around the world are achieving in order to inspire others really to engage in similar initiatives. And we've had two previous festivals. They were focusing more on the teachers, but this time we're focusing on mentors and what mentors can do to support teachers. Just to recap a little bit, go from the bottom upwards. I also need to say this, the festival itself is supported by Warwick University, my university, and the Economic and Social Research Council in the UK. Going from the bottom upwards, just to recap some of the events we've had so far, it all started with a conference online back in March last year. We're looking forward to the next conference coming up in March this year. It's an online conference. We also had a presentation about the workshops we've done in the past called EVO. You can see the video recordings of all of these events in the festival. We have basically had one every month. We tried to do that. I gave a talk for the British Council about how teacher education and practitioner research can support one another. We had a good event with several mentors from within MenTRnet, which we will talk about today, in on May. You can see all of these on video. We heard from Elia and Ella about the great work of Netruz, which is a network of English teacher researchers in Uzbekistan. And we also have a link there to the booklet that they created for the event. There's a very interesting project in Thailand, British Council supported project, and we heard from the organizers of that and from mentors on that project. In August, um, what was this? Oh yeah, of course, this was Mariana and Ruben telling us about their workshops, the EVO workshops, and for teachers. And today we'll hear their plans for organizing similar workshops this year. We heard great talk from Rwanda in Africa about how a teacher association can support teachers to do research. We heard about this program, British Council program, and how mentoring is being done within this in partner schools all around the world, partner schools of the British Council in this event in October. This event was not schemed so much as different people who've done teacher research themselves who then decide they would like to help other teachers to do teacher research maybe in their own school. And that was a really interesting event, them reflecting on their journeys. And the very last one we had was in December with Rama and others from Delhi talking about what they had been doing and in Delhi. So this is how a local educational authority can support mentoring of teachers. Right, and we've got today's event, celebration of MenTRnet, launching two publications today as well. And we're looking forward to something in February about how teacher research can be integrated into pre-service teacher education. And we're looking forward to the conference in March, and maybe we have to stop sometime. We're not quite sure when we are going to stop, but we might have another one about using AI. Looking to the future, using AI to help teacher inquiry. So that's just an overview of this festival. Now you can see that it's basically organized from within MenTRnet. And we decided that today we would like to focus on MenTRnet itself, have a celebration of MenTRnet. Because MenTRnet is a network which has developed over the last year, really, very strongly, doing lots of interesting things. And we thought it would be a good chance to tell everybody publicly what we've been doing, and at the same time to launch two publications that have come from within MenTRnet in cooperation with IATEFL Research SIG. So what we're going to do today is exactly that. We're going to start by talking about MenTRnet and its achievements and plans as well, and aspirations for the first part. The second part today, we're going to launch a book, Stories of Mentoring Teacher Research. We're going to hear from authors of the chapters as well, and hear which other chapters they enjoyed reading. And we're also going to launch a research SIG publication, which relates back to that conference last year, that online conference called Teachers Research. So that's the plan for today. And to start with, then, um, let me talk a little bit about MenTRnet itself. So then I'll hand over to others from the committee which we have in MenTRnet. So MenTRnet has developed quite organically as a network, really. Nobody has to pay anything to join MenTRnet. It's MenTRnet stands for Mentoring Teacher Research Network, Mentoring Teacher Research Network. So we've come together over the last 3 years, really, 4 years, um, realizing we have a lot in common, realizing we can benefit by talking to one another online. And of course, we all know during the pandemic how online and Zoom, it really helped us, supported us, but we were supporting teachers in different ways. And researching their practice during the pandemic and after the pandemic has proved to be an empowering thing for people, for teachers to do. And we find support and empowerment ourselves in discussing what we are doing with teachers around the world in different countries. It's very international. There are, it says here, 250 mentors or people interested in becoming a mentor. We're not exclusive just to those who've had experience. But actually, there are 300 now who are members. You don't have to pay anything to join MenTRnet. If you are a mentor, or if you're somebody who wants to mentor teachers to do their research, you may be a teacher educator, you may be a teacher in a school who wants to mentor other teachers, you may be in some other situation, you may be an administrator who wants to organize a scheme like one of those I've shown. You could just join MenTRnet by clicking on that button. And it's a discussion list basically, and you will hear news of meetings, you'll hear news of our activities. So we started to call ourselves MenTRnet just last year, just a year ago. So we can say, well, we are about a year old, but actually we had meetings, many of us together, before that as well. We have it turns out that we have several different kinds of activity. And another thing that's developed roughly from 1 year ago is we set up a committee to manage the different activities. So we're going to hear today from different members of that committee who are going to talk about the different areas of activity of MenTRnet. So I'm going to start by handing over to two members of the committee. Those are Vanita and Sydney. If you could tell us a little bit about the teachers' research conferences.
Yeah, thank you so much, Richard. Uh, could we just share the screen?
I can do that. Do you want to, or shall I?
Yeah, please, if you
Ah,
could. Yeah,
okay.
because I think I've already shared the PPT with you.
Oh, don't have a PPT from you, Vanita. Sorry. Do you want me to share something about the
Okay,
conference?
just let me
No,
try to
I can do
share
that.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can share. one of these, not this one. Let me share the last book, maybe one of the, or
No problem, no problem. I'll just speak.
okay.
That's okay. Yeah. So hello everyone. That is Vanita and Sydney, are just going to share, teachers research online conference brief overview. So we would talk about what we achieved in 2024 and what we are planning for the conference that is due in March 2025. I would just like to begin by saying how teachers research conference, is a bit different, from the other academic conferences because the focus is on purely empowering teachers as active contributors to knowledge construction and not just the passive recipients of experts insights. Also, this conference, teachers research conference, has a very different format. It has an interactive format, where we begin with brief poster presentations by teachers, followed by discussions, for feedback and idea sharing. Plus, you will also find that how teachers they do poster presentations in parallel strands, to showcase diverse topics and perspectives. So basically, the goal of this conference is to encourage teachers to share their ideas, confidently and foster an open exchange, of feedback and collaborative learning. Now, the special feature of this conference is we have plenary sessions, not having experts, but we put the entire spotlight, on teachers and mentors, who promote reflection on teacher research and the mentoring processes. So let me just talk about the 2024 conference. What did we achieve? It was a very successful conference. It was held on 9th and 10th of March, and that was organized by ITIFL Research 6. Special thanks to Ernesto, because this conference was chaired by Ernesto and co-led by myself and Sydney, with the support of our MenTRnet community, that was formed in 2024, the International Network for Mentors of Teacher Research in ELT. So this was the 10th teachers research event and was third fully online event that took place. The focus was showcasing the teacher research in ELT and TESOL globally. There were around 32 mentors, who participated, from 18 different countries like UK, Cameroon, India, China, Iran, Iraq, Japan, Kuwait, Nigeria. And there were around 90 poster presentations across 3 parallel stands. Uh, Sydney, I would just like to invite you to talk about our 2025 plan.
Oh,
Are you
so
there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
very well.
fine. Good.
Thank
So
you.
far, so good. So 2025 conference will be held on the 29th and the 30th of March.
Mm-hmm.
It will be from 10 to 4 p.m. UK time, remember. And we've had 31 mentors. We're expecting them to bring 100 teachers. So that's a lot. Featured sessions, we have plenary sessions featuring teachers and mentors. So everybody will have a say and we'll be able to share their findings. There will be online proceedings as well, promotion on and sharing of the content, showcasing posters, abstracts, video presentations, and moderator testimonial. Okay. Participating countries, just very similar to last year's edition. India, Cameroon, Thailand, Argentina,
Mm-hmm.
Turkey, China, UK, Laos, Nigeria, Israel. And the timeline for conference preparations, February 2025, we send forms to mentors for mentee information. Early February, we collect forms for title, presenter information, abstract, poster, Padlet link. Very similar to last year. And late February to mid-March, we have a peer review period and abstracts and request modifications. And then late March, drum rolling, we finalize the conference program.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sydney. I just want to give special credit to Mei Fang. Hi, Mei Fang. Thank
Yeah.
you for helping us to put it all this together, and she would be helping us in planning and organizing 2025 conference. Thank you, Mei Fang, again. Thank you, Richard.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Thanks both of you. And
yeah.
thank you, Vanita. Thank you, Sydney, for all your work and Vanessa, of course, on those conferences. Well, let's move on to Sedan. She wants to talk. Sedan, go ahead. You're going to talk about the workshops that we organize for mentors, for inducting mentors or orienting people to do mentoring. Go ahead.
With pleasure, Richard. Hi, everyone. I'm Sedan Demirtuyan from Turkey. I'm working at Çağ University as an educator. We started delivering these workshops with Richard Smith in 2020. And then in 2022, we moved on with a further one as a group. This time, Ruben was among us. Then we moved on to the 2024 workshops. Then we were as a group with Ana Garcia Stone, Ravi Narayan Chakraborty, and dear Mariana Serra. We will run these workshops starting from 19th of April to the 24th of May. We are planning to have 6 meetings. By the way, I should have said, we were running these workshops on EVO platform. Now we will continue doing them as mentoring teacher research workshop series under the roof of our MenTRnet, very proudly. And we are planning to have these meetings. Actually, we have 6 meetings. And the overall aim for prospective mentors is to design a mentoring plan. And each session will deal with a different aspect to consider for mentoring. And our sessions are based on Professor Smith's book, Mentoring Teacher Research. We are planning to include the content as developing topics and questions, supporting data collection, analysis, and interpretation, guiding teachers to plan and evaluate change, helping our teachers to plan and evaluate change, share and reflect, and hearing about their reflections on the session. We are planning to use the Canvas page for delivering the sessions and sharing our suggested readings and plus our videos and resources.
Okay, thank you very much, Sedan.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And that's one set of workshops. That's about mentors, or that's for mentors or people who want to become mentors. But those who are already mentors are very welcome to take part as well. It's the way that we build our community, and that's why we have built a community, and that's how we continue to build this community into the future. Okay, so there's no way yet to register for these workshops, in case you are wondering, but the information will be spread through MenTRnet if you join MenTRnet, if you're interested. The same with the conference. You can't register yet for the conference, but you will hear about it through our website, through the email discussion list. Now, handing over to Mariana and Ruben, because they run another set of workshops focused on teachers, for teachers. Ruben, Mariana.
Thank you so much, Richard. Welcome, everyone. My name is Mariana Serra, and from Argentina, and I would like to say that Ruben and I have participated as moderators in the Teacher Research EVO series since 2018, becoming lead moderators in 2020 until now. So this year, same as what Sedan said, we are very glad to be providing the Teacher Research workshop series as a MenTRnet ReSig activity, together with a team of international moderators and mentors from all over the world. The workshop aims to empower teachers to solve situated problems in their classrooms. Yes, so by attending and participating in our 5-week online free workshop, teachers will be able to understand the value of teacher research, yes, and to develop autonomy and agency to design and to implement teacher research projects in their classrooms. This year, we will be inviting new mentors, teachers, of course, student teachers from teachers training colleges to implement their exploratory action research projects during practicum processes, and also head of school departments. Yes, this year our workshop will start on September the 29th till October the 31st. Over to you, Ruben. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mariana. Thank you, Richard. Well, yes, we will be running the workshop from the 29th of September till the 31st of October. And during these 5 weeks, we will be guiding participant teachers in the steps of classroom-based research or teacher research along the 5 weeks through different types of interactions and workshop dynamics like, through our platform, also with live meetings, with problem-solving tasks, inquiry-based activities as well. That is creating both epistemic or knowledge relationships in collaboration, and also social relations in this community of practice of teacher researchers in this case. After completing the 5 weeks, we will give participants some time to implement their projects in their classrooms, the ones that they designed together during the 5 weeks. And then after that time, we will meet again in a live meeting so that participants have the opportunity to share their findings and their experiences, based on implementation of their research. So you are all welcome, yes, to this MenTRnet workshop series. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ruben. Thank you, Mariana, and great workshops to look forward to. And yes, these are open. They are free, completely free, same as the workshops that Sedan was talking about. This is all voluntary activity. Please tell teachers that you think might be interested in joining that. That'll be in September. So there's quite a long time to wait. If you yourself listening to this now or watching the recording, if you are somebody who thinks, well, I'd like to mentor some teachers, start off with the workshops in March and April, and join us then, and then you can bring teachers to the later workshops as well. Okay, let me hand over next to Anna and Mariana again, who have been leading monthly meetings of MenTRnet, where people come to. Well, you tell us about them, Anna or Mariana.
Yes, thank you very much, Richard. Well, I would like to say that our MenTRnet support group monthly interactive sessions take place for about 60 or 90 minutes, and we remind our members of the sessions by sending them an email and telling them about the monthly topic, the speakers, and we also provide the link to our encounter. We generally start our meetings by reading the agenda and introducing the monthly speakers who give very short presentations. Then we all get into groups where activities are carried out, and then back in the main room, the findings are shared, feedback is given, and recordings are provided after each of the meetings. Because sometimes members cannot make it. So everybody knows what has been done. Well, in August 2024, we made some changes to the dynamics of our sessions because we invited members, participants to solve problems that real mentors had shared with us. Then the solutions were compared. And we would like to say that taking notes on what people say during our meetings and discussions is a way to record key information for future meetings. Yes, and the 2024 sessions are an excellent overview of the topics in mentoring teacher research we dealt with last year. Yes, so everybody is welcome. Over to you, Anne.
Okay, thanks, Mariana. I just wanted to say a little bit about where the topics come from that we organise through these monthly meetings, and they come from a range of things. So sometimes it's something that's mentioned at a meeting. So once we mentioned ethics, and Susan brought that up. So Susan then led a session on ethics. Somebody else who's not here, Chang Liu, has been running some teaching body groups, so we invited her to speak to us. And then other times there are ideas that just come out of the group. So for example, co-mentoring, or talking about our own motivation, about how we can maintain mentees' motivation. And also recently we've had outside guest speakers, and Paula Rebolledo came to speak to us about helping teachers with gathering data. And I'm very happy to confirm that Ernesto Vargas Gil will be speaking to us in March about reflexivity. So related to questioning techniques and questions that we ask our mentors. And what we're hoping to do as well is to send out a questionnaire to members just to see what topics they would like to see covered. Oh, and I also know that I can see Seden. We had another idea which came out from an article that Seden wrote, which was on building communities. So Seden spoke to us. So the ideas come from all sorts of different places. And I think on the whole they're successful. Normally about 20 people attend, and then between 10 and 30 people watch the videos afterwards on the Zoom platform. So
Well,
thank you.
Thank you for all your work of organizing those as well. And so these are not publicly advertised, and we do record them, but we don't make the recordings available publicly like we have been for the festival. So you have to join MenTRnet, and then you will hear about each month's meetings, and you will also be able to see the recording if you can't make the meeting. Right. So that's a very important part of MenTRnet's activity through the year. Let's hear now from Omid, because Omid has joined us and has been really useful and helpful to us in redesigning our website. Over to you, Omid.
Thank you very much, Richard. Well, the MenTRnet website is a source, is a resource, it is a platform for us to share information. And we basically share everything that we do on this website. We share resources, we share reports of our activities, we announce workshops and events, and we make sure it works 24/7. And all the information, all the links to recordings of workshops and events are there and accessible to everyone. Richard, if you could show the homepage of website, I would like to mention that we do have a little orange button in the header of the website that says Join MenTRnet. This little link provides easy access to everyone who wants to join the community. By just one click, everyone can freely join this community. And in the other features of this website are about resources, where we provide free resources to everyone. We share resources, open access books. For example, the recently published Stories of Mentoring teacher research. And also we announce workshops and events on this website. On the homepage of this website, you can basically get a glimpse of what we're doing, and every report, every feature that has been published is accessible through the files that you can see on the homepage. One thing that we did in 2024 was that we added the feature to have co-authors and guest authors author blog posts on MenTRnet website. We are very proud and very pleased to have co-authors and authors who post blog posts on our website from all around the world. And in 2025, we're planning to remain flexible and add new features as we move along with our activities to make sure the website is responsive and responds to the needs of this community. Basically, in websites and in digital platforms, it is very important to remain flexible and to remain active 24/7. And this is what we're planning to do in 2025.
And we're so lucky to have you, Amit, to help us with that. So thanks so much for your work on the new website.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. So actually, you mentioned the features, and that is a new feature. Susan is going to tell us a little bit about the features area.
Yeah, perhaps you can share that
Yeah.
page, Richard.
Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Susan, and at the moment I'm editing the features aspect of our website. As Omid and Richard have said, this is something fairly new for MenTRnet. The idea is to disseminate people's experiences, members' experiences. It's not an academic journal. We have quite different styles of writing here. If you look at those 5 features that we've published so far, they're quite different. So we have reports of teacher research, mentoring teacher research. We have one of Rwanda. We have very personal experiences there, the transformative power of supportive mentorship. So that's a very different type of writing, much more reflective. We have reports of work that MenTRnet members are doing. So we have the translation of Richard and Paola's book into Japanese. And we also have all the work that Ellie is doing in terms of mentoring, publishing, book reviews and things like that. And then also more think pieces like the one on ethics, which maybe helps stimulate a bit of discussion. So that's what we're doing at the moment. I'm the editor. If you want to get in touch, you have an idea for an article, as Omid said, this is quite immediate, quite quick. It can come out relatively quickly compared to publishing a book. So just get in touch if you have an idea, would like to publish something. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Susan, for taking that on. It's really going well. And yeah, so these are public. We can spread the news through these blogs and everything. So yeah, please do get in touch with Susan. Maybe you could drop your email address into the chat.
Done that.
Yeah, thank you. And Susan mentioned the great work that Ellie has been doing, and in 2 different areas. So first of all, tell us about mentoring people to write, especially reviews, Ellie.
Well, my name is Ellie, and my role in this community in the past 3 or 4 years has been being the publication nudger that is trying to get members of our community to write various pieces. Really, we are doing 3 different kinds of writing. One of them is book reviews, which means that books related to ELT and classroom research are being reviewed by members of our community. We have been in touch with about 6 journals, and probably more than a dozen book reviews have been published already, and some more are in the pipeline. We are very lucky to have Phil Dexter here today, with whom we have established like a strategic alliance in the past 12 months. So maybe, Phil, you could say just like a couple of words about how you see from your perspective the writing arising from you.
Yeah, thanks. I'll be very brief, and thank you for this time. It's wonderful to be part of MenTRnet, just myself as well, and that's excellent. But really, I'm really pleased that the Pilgrims Teacher Training Journal can support the festival and actually promote everything that you're doing. But you know, we've I think it's almost about 18 months or 2 years we've got contributions in the journal, and that's either articles, book reviews, reports reviews, or what is really exciting is video and interviews, which many of you have done. And in the next issue coming out at the end of the month, we've got the Rwanda team have an interview. So So that's really exciting. So and of course we're welcome to actually have any contributions, and I'll be continuing to work with Ellie. And thank you, Richard, as well for the initial introduction to all of this. So really pleased to be part of this.
So the other kind of writing is journal articles, and you remember how we have been working very hard for about 18 months on working for ERT Classroom Research Journal. The first issue has come out. It has 5 articles, out of which 3 have come from our quoters, and also to the 2 book reviews. I'm very grateful for this, reviews editor of this journal, and we are preparing the second issue in April, so that's already 2025. The book chapters, I'm not going to say too much about it because that is coming up, but we hope that in the future we will carry on with the blogs, the book reviews, the journal articles, and the very interesting video conversations. For example, the next video conversation will be among review writers for Phil's journal, among review writers on Angie Mardereri's mentoring teachers book, and we also hope that we can invite her to come to one of our sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. And Rob is here actually. So Rob, thanks for having us this link with your journal, the ELT Classroom Research Journal. We're very happy to have that link that Ellie has sort of mediated for us. So great. And we're thinking how to improve that into the future and provide opportunities for teachers to publish in that journal. So Ellie, thanks. Now back to you, Ellie, isn't it? Oh no, you finished. That was very good timing. Well done. Thank you for all your work, Ellie. It's been fantastic. And I just finally wanted to say a couple of words, I suppose, about our link with IETFL Research SIG, which we'll keep coming back to today. And one way we link is, I think once a year, roughly, we have been organizing an event with IETFL Research SIG, which is a special interest group within IETFL, to an event where we tend to have mentors reporting on the way they have been mentoring teachers, especially those teachers who have presented maybe a month before, 2 months before, at the conference that Vanita and Sydney were telling us about. So we probably will hope to organize similar events with IETFL Research SIG, which are then video recorded, and others around the world can hear about the experiences of mentors who most of them are, well, all of them are members of MenTRnet. Right, so that's given you some kind of overview of MenTRnet. You've heard the words community, I think, several times. And so I suppose I think we didn't deliberately try to be a community of practice, but you know the phrase community of practice. I think we are what you could call a community of practice. That's what, indeed, there was an evaluation by the British Council of different sort of teacher and teacher educator groups around the world. And they were trying to see how they could develop their own community of practice for teacher educators. And they did a kind of evaluation, and they joined our group for a while. And the people who were doing that evaluation told us later, this group was really a model, what they thought was like a model of what a community of practice should look like. And I suppose that's what we are. We're a very active and dynamic community of practice. So as many of you here, I can see today, are members of MenTRnet. So let's just all congratulate ourselves, really, in all of this dynamic activity, and give ourselves a round of applause, because we are celebrating ourselves as a group, I think, today, but also telling others around the world about what we have been doing, not to boast about it, but in order to invite others to join in with this activity. I think you'll find it very useful and a friendly environment. Now, the next part of our event today is to launch 2 publications. Both of them have been jointly published, well, actually published by IETFL Research SIG. So the first one that we're going to launch is, I'm just going to hand over to Sezen, really, to introduce this part.
Well,
And
Thank
we
you,
have
Richard.
we have an actual launch, don't we? So you're going to chair
Yeah,
this.
we
Yeah.
have. Well, we need to share the sound.
Share the sound. Can we do that?
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you know how to do that? There's a little box you
Yes.
click, isn't there? Yeah.
I
Exciting.
think so, yeah.
The curtain will rise, or part.
Okay, I hope it's we can do that safely. Okay, I'm so glad and proud, and I have so many emotions that we can do it as a community here. And this pride is mine, and I feel so lucky. Here comes our publication.
Oh, great.
My time, you are I want. Neither of us wanna be alone. Breathing in your love, on your touch. Oh, it's what I'm living for.
Wow, great.
Just okay. Shall I do my introduction part, Richard?
Yes, please.
Okay. As you can see in my hands, this inspiring book unites 20 reflective accounts of mentoring practices by facilitators of classroom inquiry from diverse global South contexts. It embodies the spirit of knowledge sharing with MenTRnet, an international work of teacher research mentors founded in 2021 and named in March 2024 with increasing numbers of members. And created some partnership with IETFL Research SIG. And most important of all, this book marks MenTRnet's very first publication. The book shines light on the emergence of exploratory action research as a transformative professional development approach, which is embraced by many mentors and educators alike. It highlights grassroots, I can say, practice-oriented initiatives that empower teachers to engage in voluntary research for their own growth and that of their students. What we did was actually during support group meetings and teacher research conferences, participants shared many experiences about their teacher research mentoring. And this goes back to December 2022. A mentoring support group meeting led this idea, just creating an open access book about sharing these experiences. And then we decided to ask IETFL Research SIG. I want to thank Ernesto Vargas Gil here, as a representative of MenTRnet here talking, and they readily agreed. And we offered potential authors the choice to create posters, give short presentations. There was a mini conference called Stories of Teacher Research Mentoring. And then after the online event, we provided clearer guidelines for writing chapters. And the deadline, I can say, was 31 July 2023 for writing the first drafts. And we worked with 20 potential chapters to get them ready for publication. And here, this book is unique in just gathering and celebrating diversity, with each contributing to sharing their unique insights. So that's all from me. I don't want to overlap because Mariana will be talking about the rest of our book's launch story. Over to you, Mariana.
Thank you very much, Seden. Yes, I will talk briefly about when our dream started. Yes, as Seden said, in one of our mentoring teacher research support group sessions in December 2022, Seden, Richard, and I started dreaming of creating or compiling a book of mentor stories. So we invited Ellie for support with the editing job. Thanks, Ellie. We have learned so much. Yes, okay, the four of us had already worked together on the publication Enhancement Mentoring for Teacher Research in 2021. And we thought that due to the value and the originality of each of the stories we have heard during conferences and during mentoring sessions, to compile a book to share narrator stories, mentor stories would be a worthwhile future project. So that was our goal, right? To share the achievement of mentors who had carried out their projects with teachers all over the world and had improved their practice as a consequence of those experiences. Yes, and our intention was to share those narratives to inspire, to motivate others via concrete examples. So, as Sedan said, this is a book of stories of experience. Yes, from the very beginning, we invited the writers to write in a down-to-earth way. We provided a questionnaire, which was a sort of guide, and we invited them to reflect on their projects, on their moments of joy, on their moments of fear during their mentoring experiences, and also on what they would do in the future and what they would do different. Yes, and okay. About what I learned, okay, I would like to share just my reflections on that. While working collaboratively with Richard, with Ellie, and with Sedan, I learned about the editing process and about the need to consult, yes, and to learn from their opinion. That co-construction was highly valuable, right? And then reading and working on each of the stories contributed to my professional development as a mentor and as a teacher researcher due to the diversity of the stories the mentors shared with us in very diverse contexts. Yes, reading or while I read each of the stories, I shared, yes, the same passion, yes, each of those writers had when mentoring with each of them, right? And I would also like to say that it has been a real pleasure for me to co-author chapter 11 with Ruben Massey, yes, and to be able to share our mentoring project at the College of Psychology, University of Buenos Aires, in the hope of inspiring others. So thank you very much, team, for making this dream come true. Over to you, Ellie.
Well, Seden and you have covered much of my experience as well. I just want to get back to the experience of reading these drafts in various forms, the way they were improved, and sharing that local context that you were all trying to project and share with us. We were delighted to see the ever improving drafts, and then finally we ended up with a delightful range of 20 stories written by 25 authors. everybody's voice shining through, but still having some kind of a similar structure. So I learned a lot as well as a co-editor, and it's been brilliant working with you and reading your scripts in whichever stage. Thank you very much.
Yes, well, I also really enjoyed working with you three, and we're proud of this publication. And I just want to share with you the table of contents. I already actually shared that, but you can see the 20. We have an introduction and the 20 stories from really from around the world. And I think what we're going to do now, so then, is we're going to invite some of the authors to to tell us not about their own chapter but to what are we going to do? You tell us, Sedan. Sedan, over to you. Can't hear you. Sorry. You're muted. You're muted.
Sudden unmute.
Sorry. Could you go on, Richard, with that? I missed
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, I think we're now what we're going to do is we're going to ask some of the chapter authors to tell us what are we going to ask them to tell us?
So we're going to start with the first one. It's going to be me, and I'll be
Okay. You're going to tell
going
us.
through that.
You're going
Yeah.
to choose one story or two stories,
Yeah, I have
and
chosen two stories as
right.
we have been asked to. And if I may share my screen.
Well, I'll share it at the moment. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Which stories would you like to tell us about
Okay.
that impressed you?
So it's chapter 7.
Right.
How
Very
I
fine.
sustain the teacher's motivation and engagement in long-term teacher research program. So this is the first one. Okay.
What did you find interesting
So
or impressive about this?
the thing that I wanted to talk about is that when I looked at Mifgan Zhu in China and the way that she had 7 teachers, the thing that stuck out for me in this story is just like my country in Iraq and the way the challenges that we have as a culture, that we don't have CPD like they have in China. And the most important thing, because as we said, as researchers, as teachers, we all are driven by data, and we forget that the research part. So where do we go wrong in the classroom? Sometimes we like to think about this, and then we forget as teachers, and times, you're driven and you want to continue with your teaching. So the CPD is always put aside, and if we are in a country which is a developed country and we do have CPD, sometimes we're pushed into a CPD that does not reflect what I want or what I struggle into the classroom. Or if, like my country and China and Africa, the countries that I'm going to be talking about, where there is no CPD, when we had to look at where do we go wrong, and the book and the research that Richard has written, I started to look at it when I was teaching at Qatar University, and my background as an Iraqi teacher, and I worked with Iraqi teachers, I started to think and reflect, okay, how am I going to do this with my teachers? So that reflected the same in China. So she has 7 teachers, so they're on the school. She encouraged them by giving them power. So this is the word, that power. I love the word power. And I've heard that from all my colleagues today, giving that teacher the power to think about what does she need to do or he needs to do in the classroom. What motivates them to be a brilliant teacher, a role model in that classroom and in that community. The word community came a lot from my colleagues today. So as a culture, we do not say, I don't understand or I don't know. We just keep quiet and we just continue. But motivating them and having that group and talking to them through WhatsApp or any social media and gathering information and encouraging each other, motivating each other, that became the CPD for these teachers in China.
Okay,
The same
thank you, Maimon.
thing.
So yes, you have one more, don't you,
one more
to talk about
before
briefly,
I finish the 2 minutes, my 2 minutes. The same thing happened in chapter 10, where Eric speaks about mentoring a large group of teachers in Africa, where he started with 6 teachers and it became so big, 72 teachers from Mali, Congo, Sierra Leone, Cameroon. And again, here the word power, giving them the power to talk, given them power to reflect on their teaching, and the culture of saying I don't understand and coming to their colleagues on WhatsApp. I don't understand this. How do I do this? Have you done this reading? What do you think of this? And again, that came as beautifully the CPD that we want our teachers, especially in undeveloped countries. That's all I wanted to reflect on, Richard, and thank you for giving me this chance to do this.
Well, great to hear that. How you've been impressed as one of the authors yourself, and of course your chapter is really impressive about how you mentor teachers, Iraqi teachers. Very first chapter of the book. Well, thank you, Mayamin. And
Thank
let's
you.
hear now from Ravi about there was another author from the book. We're asking the authors to to think about the other chapters. So which ones did you choose, Ravi?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richard. I'm going to summarize 2 chapters, chapter 12 by Ela and chapter 16 by Fauzia and Richard.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'll start with the number 12 then, about Uzbekistan.
Yes.
Yeah.
So chapter
Briefly.
12 is about lessons learned from running a mentorship project in Uzbekistan. The story describes Ela's experience of running a local mentorship project, and she also shares the lessons she has learned from the challenges she faced. They have a network of teacher researchers of Uzbekistan called NetRus, which is a growing community of local teacher researchers. And they've launched 3rd round of this mentoring local language teachers in exploratory action research. So there were 8 mentors. The interesting thing is that some were experienced, some were novice mentors, but all completed their EAR projects previously. And then, yeah. Can you see my next slide?
Yeah. Well, no, I don't have any slides. We're just looking at the chapters themselves. So the next book, next chapter.
All right. So, this is Ella's learning. She says it's important to invest in building a more consolidated local mentors community. All right. It's not just providing support during the project, but it should be an ongoing support, she says. And so it's very important for teachers to have a feeling of belonging to a wider community of mentors. And she also talks about the importance of co-mentoring. And then she says, having been mentor does not on its own ensure a smooth transition from being a successful mentee to an effective mentor. So she feels that encouraging local mentors to take part in some kind of formal mentor training through Electronic Village online workshops could help them a lot in boosting their confidence and mentoring skills. So what I liked about this chapter is that it is a very realistic account of her experiences. And it resonates my own feelings actually, as both as a teacher researcher and as a mentor. And I really appreciate her zeal to know why some of these mentors dropped out from the project, and her desire to correct her own mistakes, to change her maybe attitude, some of her practices, and then her desire for her own professional development. That's really inspiring. And Ella has a never give up kind of attitude, which I really like. And she believes in herself, that her mentoring abilities, being very optimistic, being confident. So this is a truly inspiring story. Now moving on to chapter 16, which is by Fauzia and Professor Richard. It's about addressing academic conceptions of research among teacher educators. This is a story of co-mentoring of 9 teacher educators at the Government Elementary College of Education in Husainabad, Karachi in Pakistan. So Fauzia has been working as the Chief Academic Officer at Durbin. It's an NGO that supports this government teacher education college. She's part of this NGO as an academic officer. And Richard Smith from Warwick University, UK, he works as an advisor and a mentor for this project. So Fauzia used to conduct face-to-face mentoring sessions, and Richard used to provide online support to. So there were 9 teacher educators. A few teacher educators were teaching future English teachers, whereas others were trainers for maths, science, and social studies, along with lecturers in research methodology for student teachers. So it's again a mixed kind of group. And yeah, so objective was to encourage and support faculty to undertake exploratory action research and to develop the skills of selected faculty members for mentoring student research projects, and then provide opportunities in international platforms for them to share their research experiences. Yeah, so Richard introduced EAR to these faculty members through 3 webinars. The interesting thing is that they're all used to doing academic research. They're from teacher education colleges and they're used to writing theses. So there was some kind of conflict. So it was slightly difficult for them to accept this EAR model. They thought EAR had a very simple model. Research is not that rigorous. So both of them, Richard and Fauzia, try to address this through one-to-one sessions and face-to-face mentoring activities. But the very exciting thing is all 9 participants completed their projects and they presented their reports at the Teacher Research Online 2023 conference. And they got recognition for their work from their peers, senior management, and it seemed to motivate other colleagues to undertake similar kind of research. So this is what both of them share as their learning. The experience of mentoring teacher educate in different subjects, not just teachers of English. So this was slightly different. The experience was different, and also trying to persuade them to understand the difference between research as understood by them and then EAR. That was also a bit challenging but interesting. So what I liked about this chapter is the conversational style of presenting the story. That is quite a new thing, and the distinction between academic and practitioner research. And then, yeah, mentoring teachers of English and other subject teachers. And then they say we need to trust their own subject area expertise and pedagogical knowledge. I think this is very important. And then the way they have worked together, one local mentor and one international mentor, that was quite a good thing. And they had both face-to-face and online mentoring sessions. And how teacher research can be very useful for developing practice, even for relatively academically minded teachers in teacher education, higher education settings. Yeah, how useful it could be in their own professional development. All that is quite an interesting thing. So I like both the chapters. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi. It's really interesting to hear your reflections. And you mentioned that some of the stories are about stories are not all about success at all. They're very often expressing issues and problems and how to try to overcome them. So thank you very much, Ravi. And your chapter is also, of course, very interesting. And so are all the chapters that we're not mentioning today as well, of course. Next, Vinaya, would you like to talk about one story?
Hi,
Also
hello.
from India, yes.
Yeah, this is Vinay Dharaj from India. So I'm also the teacher, researcher, and mentor, and I have written the chapter 8 in that book. And I have been associated with the teacher research and mentoring since 2014, the first EVO. Then a teacher researcher become a mentor. So why I have taken the Suchita story? How did I learn to ask a better questions? Because our context is the similar and we have worked collaboratively also. So her project and our project in Telangana runs parallelly, and we have visited the online meetings with the teacher researchers, and she came to our Telangana teacher researchers. So we work together. So our context is very similar and we have worked collaboratively. This is the reason that I have selected her story. And she is from Maharashtra, and she has mentored almost 30 teacher researchers, and out of that, 25 completed their exploratory action research and presented. So the key ideas that she has identified is that exploration stage. This is a common challenge for every mentor, that the teachers will jump into the action phase and without exploring that. So similarly, she too faced the same situation. So she has identified this is an issue for her, and to address that, and she has explored again, like a teacher researcher, mentor also did an action research there, and she talked to them and she listened and she made a note of that. And out of that understanding, and she made some ideas and how to learn questioning them, because prompting and narrowing down the research question is very crucial for the classroom exploratory action research, particularly the stage of exploration. So during that stage, she spent much time with the mentees, and understand them instead of judging them, and given time for them to understand the context. And she has also taken much time to understand their situations, where they work and how their kids are there, and how her belief system. So all these things will help us to become a better mentor by prompting the better questions to make the teachers to understand their problem thoroughly. So from that, and they jumped into an action phase, and this is the best part of our work and our written chapter. And also the organization. So initially she identified an issue, then she tried to evolve it, and she also showed an evidence from the mentees talk also. Initially, how the mentees talked about their problem, and this is the first she has given with a mentee 1, mentee 2, like that. And then in the middle, and she processed that issue and that problem, and finally she addressed that issue. And she also shown an evidence how the transformation happened in that mentees. So how they were at the beginning and how their dialogues are at the end. So this is very comprehensive chapter that she has written. This clearly shows that his journey to address the issue while mentoring the teacher researcher. And the one more important skill, that framing questions, how to frame the questions and asking the students, teacher researchers to narrow down their topics, is the key skill for the mentoring, and that she has already shown in the written work. Thank you.
Right. So Vinay, thank you very much. And yeah, this was a fun chapter to edit, because it's very practical, and as you said, the journey there is very clear. Well, your chapter is also great, Vinay. Now, Eric, I'm going to invite you also to share your views about a couple of chapters. But I must ask you to be brief, because we need to also relaunch another publication, Eric, and Nala after you. So Eric, over to you.
Thank you very much, Richard, and thanks everyone for being here this afternoon. My internet misbehaved a while ago, and I wasn't so sure that I'll be connected, but I'm happy that I'm here right now. And I'm talking about, I want to share my reflection on chapter 1, that's the value of teacher research mentoring in war-torn Iraq. And this chapter was written by Maamin. What I particularly like, the reason for which I chose that chapter is because it's in the kind of context we describe as super difficult context. The teachers work in a context of emotional challenge, lack of resources, and power outage, limited internet. And Maamin describes how teacher research in such a context is a serious tool for professional development, because there are no policy documents that support teachers' professional growth, and teachers struggle on their own to find ways of practicing. And so in July 2021, she had 7 teachers to work with to support them through Zoom and WhatsApp. And what they did was discussing the tasks that had to be done in subsequent meetings. And the greatest challenge that she faced was listening to the teachers share their own personal stories. And she couldn't provide a solution to the kind of things that teachers were going through out of teacher research, out of professional development. And this is one thing that makes teacher research in that context a very useful tool for professional development. And then the teachers, what she did in this kind of environment was to create a safe environment for the teachers to feel comfortable talking about or sharing their knowledge on professional development. And what I find very, very inspiring about this work is that there was a switch in curriculum in 2003, I think. Teachers, the subjects, humanities subject, were replaced by Sharia education. And in 2017, I think, there was a switch back. And during that period of Sharia education, teachers were trained on Sharia law and military. They were trained as if they were doing military service. And then they had to switch back in this kind of context where there is navigation in policy, this kind of swift navigation in policy. It becomes very difficult to see how teachers progress. But again, she was able to mentor teachers to go through this. And what we take home from this is teachers' sense of achievement in teacher research. One of the teachers said it was so interesting trying out new things in the classroom and finding them work and finding what worked for their classroom. And the other one said it was so interesting that she found the way she carried on teacher research, she saw smiles on the faces of her learners. And so the teachers developed this, she developed more inspiration, building on a sense of achievement, the little achievements that she made in mentoring. So this is what I can make from Mamin's chapter. About Sydney's chapter, that's chapter 19, how digital tools helped him to mentor teachers. I also choose this chapter because it's not within the mainstream kind of things that we do in low resource context. So it's some kind of innovation, switching from face-to-face contact to using digital resources in education. It's not been very regular in low resource context. So I wanted to really find out how he did this. And so his interest was to support teachers and their mentors to write an article for ELT Classroom Research Journal. And his participants were two teacher researchers and mentors, and two mentors who were working with the teacher researchers. And he used layers of assistance for the purpose of adequate layers, the different layers of assistance. The immediate mentors gave assistance to the researchers, and then he equally provided assistance to the mentors and to the teachers. And then they met in online meetings, and after introducing what they had to do, there was a summary, and that was placed in a Google Doc for teachers, a summary of the meeting, which was placed in a Google Doc for teachers to see what they discussed in the meeting, and some guidelines were provided in the same Google Doc for teachers to use in writing their articles. And this happened most regularly in 30 minutes of online meeting. And in another meeting, he set up to produce drafts and provided feedback through WhatsApp. And he obtained consent from all the stakeholders to create digital support, to create a repository of everything that they were doing. And this he did, like I said, in a Google Doc. And then they also kept diaries in which they explained the objectives and probably stated the materials that they were using in the meetings. Now, what he learned from this was the perception of both the immediate mentors and the teacher researchers about digital environment, which they were exploiting, and their views on how the environment maintained focus on the article and offering language, moral, and pedagogic support. 4 key issues which they took home was maintaining the focus, editing opportunities in digital in the digital space created, and then the moral support that they provided to the teacher researchers. And then when he looked back, he realized that the process created an atmosphere that built confidence, and the feedback he created helped to create emotional bond between between him and the mentors and teacher researchers. And then he built trust, and there were opportunities for clear information provided. This is what I can make from these two chapters. Thank you so much, Richard.
So thank you so much, Eric, for your full appreciations of these two chapters. And okay, finally, Nala, we're very happy to see you here, and you want to talk about one chapter. Are you there, Nala? Hello.
Yes, hi
Yeah.
Richard. Hi
Hi.
everyone. Nice to see you all again.
Yeah, you too.
Today I'll be reflecting on Maria Marta Mora's chapter called Mentoring Teachers of Other Subjects in a School in Argentina. What I found interesting about this work was its focus on empowering teachers to become researchers in their own classrooms. Maria really in this chapter recognized that traditional professional development often failed to meet teachers' real needs. So she introduced her colleagues to EAR. And at first, there were challenges because none of the teachers she mentored spoke English. So I found it amazing because she translated all of the materials. And I believe this really highlights the importance of access, of inclusivity in professional development. And I think this point was really amazing, the effort she put into this. And despite some of the challenges like time constraints, she writes that the initiative was successful because teachers really felt empowered to investigate their own classroom issues and develop solutions as well. And I think that her work shows that EAR can really be a powerful tool for teachers in all subjects. Not only English and not only for English language teachers. And by providing teachers with the tools and support they need to investigate their own practice, I think EAR can really help them improve their teaching and better meet the needs of their students. And I think, I really think this initiative was a proof of the power of teacher leadership. Maria showed that in her article. It's also, I love the commitment to ongoing professional development. It's a story that can really inspire us all to reflect on our own practices and always look for opportunities to grow as educators. So well done, Maria, and thank you very much for writing this wonderful chapter.
Yes. Well, congratulations to you too, Nala, and congratulations to all of the authors, even if you haven't been mentioned. And I hope that has been an invitation to all of you to go and actually read the book and feel inspired by the chapters. I think that word has come up a lot. So we're now going to move to launch another publication, and I'm going to hand over to Ernesto to launch it and to tell us a bit about it. And I can share it, I think, on the screen as you do that. So we should actually hand over to you, Ernesto.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Richard. Yes, it would be great if you could share it. Yes, thank you. Well, hello, everyone. It's a real privilege to be with you, all of you today, as we formally launch these two publications, and in particular, the Teachers Research Online 2024 proceedings.
So if I may, Ernesto, I would like to just invite everybody to sort of have a drum roll in their heads as we launch this. So drum roll, please. It's me on my desk. And let's see if I can launch it properly. And I hope, hang on, let me check because we have to be correct. I hope it's this one. Yes, there we are. Oh no, it's the wrong one. Sorry.
It's 24.
That's
22.
I'll find it. Let me find it. Okay, you talk about it, and then I'll launch it as you speak. Okay.
Thank you, Richard. Well, what I was saying is that I am really happy to see so many familiar faces. I think that this is in itself a testament of the nature of our movement including the nature of our two sister research groups, MenTRnet and IATEFL RISIG. Specifically the publication that we present today, I think it constitutes a special milestone because it is the 10th edition of the Teachers Research Conference. And it feels like we have come a long way since it all began in 2014. Over the years, this conference has become more than just an event. As I have said many, many times, this is now a global community, a movement, a place where teachers globally come together every year to share their research, their ideas, their passion for making their classrooms better. And this year was no exception. We had educators, teachers, researchers from 18 countries, supported by an incredible 32 mentors coming together to showcase their work and learn from one another in what constitutes, and I say this proudly, one of the largest, if not the largest, teacher research conference in the world. Mm. One thing that stood out to me this year, last year, was the sense not only of collaboration and connection, but also consciousness or broader context issues. From poster presentations to breakout discussions, it has become increasingly apparent that teacher research is not just about research, but about empowering teachers, tackling challenges together, creating real change in classrooms around the world. And in this sense, a means of reclaiming teachers' agency, addressing systematic inequalities, and promoting locally relevant and innovative practices, demonstrating that teacher research can and must rise to meet the challenges of our times. Very briefly, I want to take this opportunity to say a big thank you to my amazing co-chairs, Vanita and Sydney, for their hard work and leadership. And I don't say this lightly. Also to the committee research SIG members, I see Eric, Marisol, Anna, Chris, Jessica, our splendid moderators. I see Ellie, Mariana, Seden, Ravi, Janak, and of course to Professor Richard Smith, whose vision and dedication has been the driving force behind this conference, and I must say behind this movement from the start. So the proceedings we're launching today capture the ownership, creativity, inclusion, and social justice orientation of last year's event. I hope that as you go through the abstract posters and videos, you feel inspired, as I did, by the incredible work of these teacher researchers, some of whom are here with us today. So thank you very much. And I would like to hand it over to my lovely co-chairs, Vanita and Sydney. Thank you.
Thank you, Ernesto. And,
thank you so much, Ernesto.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll just give a few, just share with you some ideas about how we prepared the teachers research online last year. It was quite a challenge, but as Ernesto said, it's just teamwork. Teamwork is what makes it tick, what makes it work. And just like Ernesto said, I just jotted down some ideas that he mentioned. It's not only about research, it was also about empowering teachers and promoting teaching agency. So that's basically what we created this for, just to give the floor, to give a voice to teachers around the world. And it's been going on since 2014, as Ernesto said, and fostering a community of practice among educators. It was all about enhancing listening, speaking, reading, writing skills, innovative language learning resources, better learner engagement, training skills, assessment. It was there were a lot of topics, and it's an international network, as Vanessa said. We encourage you to join us this year as well and share your practices, your ideas. And last year, as I think I said previously, MenTRnet members contributed to the conference by reviewing abstracts as well and Padlet links. So it was basic, not only Benita, me, and Richard and Ernesto doing all the work. It was the whole community, the whole MenTRnet community was working on it as well. Their enthusiasm and dedication was greatly improved. It greatly improved the overall experience. So thank you, Richard. Thank you, Enrique. And thank you, MenTRnet community, for all your support. Okay, and we're so happy about it that we want to go for it again this year.
Exactly.
So one of the takeaways, Vanita will add more things as well.
Sure.
One of the takeaways was the conference fostered a vibrant community of inquiry and practice. It fostered a rich tapestry of knowledge across diverse educational contexts. The practical application of research findings in the classroom was emphasized, equipping teachers with new strategies and tools. So what else do you want from a conference? Vanita, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I think a lot has been said by Ernesto and you. And I think I would like to invite Marisol and Ravi also, but I'll be very brief because I'll be touching on the aspect of how this conference, can have a deep impact, on the professional development of mentors, as well as teachers. So I think this conference, serves as a, catalyst, for professional growth among everyone who's involved in teaching, not just teachers but even students, the entire community, the school. And by engaging in research, I think teachers can develop critical thinking skills, deepen their understanding of pedagogical principles, and enhance their ability to address educational challenges with evidence-based solutions. So I think this conference, Teachers Research Conference, seems to empower teachers to take the ownership of their own professional development by fostering a culture of continuous improvement and lifelong learning. So that's why we would like to encourage the mentors and teachers to get involved with teacher research, regardless of where you are in your career. You don't need to be a very renowned researcher. All you need is a willingness to learn and share with those around you. And I think by engaging in teacher research, you can make quality impact on various stakeholders, whether it be teachers, learners, your own institutions, peers, and especially the broader community. And as emphasized, by Richard earlier, join the MenTRnet community, contribute to the dialogue. And I think we need to make a lasting impact on education through, the research endeavors. So by getting involved, you are not only enhancing your own professional skills, but also contributing to a collective effort that benefits the entire educational landscape. So now I would like to invite Marisol, who was also a moderator, for our 2024 conference. Maybe we would like to get her perspective as well. Welcome, Marisol. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Benita. And thank you very much for this great invitation as part of the Committee in Research, IATF group. It has been very, very let's say fruitful, this participation, mentoring this event that, as well as you mentioned, it is not just an opportunity for experienced researchers, but this motivation for teachers to research in a more than a community, I will call a family, because all these efforts are from a global family of educators, very engaged with their context, and moderating these slots gave us the opportunity to see all this effort, this passion for teaching, for research. And yes, this is a great invitation for all mentors, mentees, future researchers, being part of this community that is a real pleasure to see, to hear, stories of success from all over the world. Thank you very much for the opportunity and congratulations on your great efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marisol, for sharing your perspective. Thank you again. I would like to invite Ravi, who has set this record of mentoring more than 1,000 teachers, to share his perspective, of how, conferences like this, can enhance the professional development, of teachers. Ravi.
Yeah. Thank you, Vanita.
Thank you.
Yeah. In the first place, I like the format of the conference itself. I mean, creating posters and then preparing Padlet pages and presenting their 4 months exploratory action research in 5 minutes, and then discussing it at length in the breakout room for about 30 minutes. It's a great experience for teacher researchers. They've never done all this. So presenting before an international audience is really, really a wonderful opportunity for teacher researchers working in my context. And as a mentor, this gives me a direction and purpose, actually, a direction to what I'm doing. Otherwise, I would have been in an island, doing it all alone without any meaningful purpose. But being part of a community, doing it in a collaborative way, and joining this wonderful community, it is a great push, actually. It's a big motivation. Otherwise, I sometimes feel that I would have stopped mentoring teacher researchers at one point of time. Maybe, I don't know. This gives a huge motivation to continue my work. And also the recognition that we get and teacher researchers get, all that is really, really wonderful. I'm sure I'll continue to do it for many, many years to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ravi, for being an inspiration. Yeah. Over to you, Richard.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks all of you. I would like to give the final words really to Ernesto for today's event, and just to wrap it up and say a few words just at the end, Ernesto, if you don't mind. We have to wrap it up, unfortunately.
No. Thank you. I think that most of the things have been said, and pretty much within the ethos of our movement. I don't like to have the last word. Thank you, Richard.
So I think we all, in the ethos of our movement, I think we should all have the last word, all of us. So we've been celebrating MenTRnet. We've also been celebrating the links that we've developed with IATF Research, with the journals, with two journals. So congratulations. Let's all have the final word and just say goodbye to each other and look forward to future activity.
Richard,
goodbye,
shall
everyone.
we have a photo all together?
Yeah, a group photo,
Okay,
yes.
we can have a photo. Yeah. So if you don't mind switching your cameras on, if you are here. I'm not sure how to make a photo if one of you.
Mariana is the professional.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Just your cameras
Yes,
on.
but I am using another computer, so could you take it, please?
I'll try.
Can do
Great.
it.
Let's do our best.
Goodbye then, everyone. And
goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Very proud to
Thank
be
you,
part of the
everyone.
community.
Thank you.
Bye.